South African author James Brent Stein is joining me in studio. He's just released his book, Blackout, the Eskom Crisis, and he's here to tell us all about it. Hello.
Hello, great to be here.
Great to have you here. Now, you were a journalist.
I was.
And you covered Eskom for quite some time. Has Eskom responded in any way to the book?
No, I'm friends with some people on Facebook and social media, so I get the odd little word here and there, but nothing official, nothing in detail. I'm quite curious and looking forward to what their comments will be.
Now, this book, of course, is interesting to everyone in South Africa because it tackles why we have load shedding. We haven't had load shedding in about 3 months now. Is that correct? Should we be worried about that? Should we not be worried about that?
Very good question. I'm very worried about that, and I think it's horrendous that we haven't had load shedding. And I'll tell you why. Because it shows the economy is not growing. Very simple. Every single indicator points to that fact. If you look at peak demand for electricity, we're down about 3,000 megawatts from last year. And if you look at 2011, we're down about 6,000 megawatts peak demand from 2011. This simply means the part of the economy that needs electricity isn't growing, doesn't need as much electricity, is in fact using a lot less. It's very concerning. It simply shows the economy is not growing. And if you look at economic growth figures, 1.5% recently revised downwards for next year, that's massively concerning. So I'm hoping when there's this low demand for electricity, Eskom's got some space to do the maintenance it needs on its very old power stations. And I'm hoping that's what they're doing, that they are taking this space, less demand, so less electricity needed, so they can take that space and do more maintenance and fix what's broken. I'm hoping they're doing that.
Now, you're saying you're hoping they're doing that. Is there any way to find out if they are?
Well, we can always ask Eskom to update us daily and tell us, listen, this is the availability of our plant at this very stage. Yeah, we could do that.
Now, the beginning of the book takes us through a brief history of Eskom from about, well, actually from the beginning, from the first light bulb
from the very beginning,
from the first light bulb in South Africa, which was in Kimberley. Now, in 2008, that's when we really started to experience load shedding. And that's when the country knew there was a crisis. Of course, there were a lot of indications that we were heading here, but not a lot of people were listening. Talk us through what was going on late 2007, early 2008.
Yeah, so one of the biggest blunders, I suppose one could say, that led to the situation we're in is that the warnings that were there, and some of them very official, even a government white policy paper, signed off by Cabinet and Parliament, endorsed, in other words, by Cabinet, 1998, said, this was in 1998, by 2007 we will run out of electricity if we don't build new power stations. And lo and behold, we didn't build new power stations. And November 2007, the first time, we ran out of electricity and load shedding was implemented. And then this just increased November, December, and then January. We had a very wet January. The coal was wet. I don't know if you recall that time. Very interesting. And we were load shed drastically, and this followed for about 3 months. So the big issue to me, and one of the reasons I'm writing this book, was in the past we were warned we're going to run into some trouble and there's some challenges. These warnings were ignored, and I think we're still paying the price today, and the economy is definitely paying the price today. And I'm worried that there's some other indicators of massive warning lights that are going off, for me anyway, ones that I haven't been able to get answers to satisfactorily, and I'm saying we should look at this. If we don't, we're probably going to run into even more serious trouble over the next 15 years.